Good morning. Let me formally call the 2020 annual meeting of the Illinois Corn Growers Association to order. We ask that you keep your cameras and microphones off for the duration of this meeting unless you are speaking. If your microphone is disruptive to our business session, you will be muted by our team. However, you can still have the ability to unmute yourself if you need to speak at a later point in the meeting. Some pieces of this meeting have been pre-recorded to mitigate the COVID-19 exposure in our office. We apologize for any streaming issues that may arise, and you can rest assured that a recording of this meeting and associated materials will be available on our website soon. In October, you were instructed to submit a proxy if you could not attend the annual meeting in person. Your proxies have been assigned to the appropriate designee. Designated voters have been provided with voting instructions for this session. And since it's all virtual, we should have everyone's proxy. At this time, I'd like to introduce our secretary, Keith Sanders, who will review our annual meeting notice and the 2019 annual meeting minutes.
Thank you, Bill. And I want to wish you good morning. My name is Keith Sanders, and at this time I would like to review the 2020 annual meeting notice. Notice of the annual meeting of the Illinois Corn Growers Association. Notice is hereby given by order of the Board of Directors that the annual meeting of members of the Illinois Corn Growers Association will be held at Cloverleaf Hall, 1106 Interstate Drive in the city of Bloomington, Illinois, on the 24th day of November, 2020 at 8 a.m. for the purpose of 1, considering and acting upon reports of the officers and board of directors for the preceding year. 2, to certify election of 5 directors, 1 to be certified from each of the 5 director districts. District 2, 5, 8, 11, and 14, an election of 2 directors at large. The 5 district directors will be certified for 3-year terms, and the 2 at-large directors will be elected to 1-year terms. 3, transacting such other business as may be properly come before the meeting. You may also join us virtually on GoToMeeting or by dialing in with your phone to 1-312-757-3121 with access code 298-356-909. Dated at Bloomington, Illinois, 26th day of October 2020. I would like to report that we do have a quorum represented by proxy to conduct this meeting. The minutes of the 2019 ICGA Annual Meeting have been and will continue to be available on the Illinois Corn website. Would anyone like to have them read?
May I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to accept and place them on file? Please state your first and last names.
Rob Elliott, I would so move.
Tim Thompson, I would second.
I have a motion from Rob Elliott and a second from Tim Thompson to have the reading of the minutes accepted. Voting will now open for designated voters. So please use your iPad or phone. Those awkward pauses while we wait for the votes to tally. Motion carries. We will now turn the podium over to our treasurer, Matt Rush, who will present a financial report for the year ending September 30th, 2020.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our draft financial statement is not complete, so I'll be reviewing an excerpt from our financial year audit 2020. We will make the full financial report available on our website, and we'll review and approve it at next year's annual meeting. Look at the screen for 2020. Our fiscal year ended on September 30th. Our total assets was $3.5 million, and our total liabilities was $1.7 million. Looking at page 2 of our year-end financial statement, which is up on the screen, you'll see that our total public support revenue was $3.5 million. Our total operating expenses for the year was $3.1 million. So our net change in assets from 2019 to 2020 would be $379,408. I will now turn the podium back over to our president, Bill Leigh, for his State of the Association address.
When I became president a year ago in November of 2019, we were still involved with harvest. At that time, I probably said 2019 was an interesting year with the late planting and the late harvest and all that went with it. When we flipped the calendar to 2020, I think we all said, sigh of relief, new year. What can I say about 2020 besides what a strange year? I glanced through some previous presentations as I was preparing this speech, and many previous presentations had photos of men juggling chainsaws or talking about being broken hearted after a difficult year. While I appreciate what those before me have endured, I think I will go down in history as the first Illinois Corn Growers president to have ushered our association into a pandemic. When we were in Washington, D.C. in March for our annual meeting there, the pandemic was just coming on. And the question is, how do you greet people? Do you shake hands? Do you bump fists? Do you bump elbows? Do you wave hello? Do you tap feet? All of them were acceptable. The only one that we came down, I said we couldn't tap feet. I feared for the coordination of the board that we might fall down and kick someone. We figured out a lot of things this year. How to show up for our members when we couldn't even show up in the office. How to virtually meet with our elected officials and still get our point across. How to debate policy from every corner of the nation. And how to focus on what is most important. And in that vein, I'd like to take a minute to focus on what is most important. I would like to thank my wife, Debbie, and my brother, Mark, and my nephew, Nathan, for covering me and allowing me to serve as your president this year. I'd like to thank the staff for the exemplary work that they have done in adjusting to the new norm that we have right now. Thank you to the members that have allowed us to serve you, that have faith in us to represent you, and that join us for the betterment of all corn farmers. And now, here's what we've been up to. Because even in the middle of all the loss and craziness of this year, the Illinois Corn Growers Association accomplished a lot. And 2020 was actually a pretty good year. USMCA passed the Senate on January 16th and entered into force on July 1st. What felt like a very risky situation without a firm agreement between our two largest trading partners actually ended in a new, modern, workable agreement that would keep corn flowing over our borders. In 2019-2020, we sold almost 15 million metric tons of corn to Mexico at a value of over $2.5 billion. We sold 1.68 million metric tons of corn to Canada at a value of over $264 million. And Canada remains our #2 market for U.S. ethanol. In another trade news, our big boost from the Chinese Phase 1 deal benefited every farmer we represent. The industry certainly stood by the efforts made by the administration, and it certainly looks like it's paying off. China has purchased 348.8 million bushels of
U.S. corn for the 2021 marketing year as of August 27, 2020. This is great trade news. The Illinois waterway system has been in the news quite a bit, while the Illinois River locks had major rehab and were closed for the summer. Luckily for us, that project remained mostly on time, and everything opened back up on October 29th this year. I was able to tour the sites in late September, and the amount of work and coordination that the U.S. Corps of Engineers did on those locks was amazing. And I think a great round of applause and thanks should go to the U.S. Corps of Engineers. Illinois corn growers' main goal, of course, is to obtain the funding from Congress for a new lock and dam built on the Illinois or Mississippi rivers. And we feel like we've made some good progress in 2020. Back in February, the Navigation and Ecosystem Restoration Program, or NESP, received $4.5 million in the U.S. Corps of Engineers 2020 work plan, and that's great news. This summer, we got a cost share for construction and major rehabilitation of inland waterway projects changed from 50-50 federal-private to 65-35 federal-private. That's great news. In July, the House Appropriations Committee approved the fiscal year 21 budget for energy and water development that would include funding for one new project for inland waterways, locks, and dams modernizations. Great news. In October, we saw several cities in Illinois designated as ports, which allows for more grant and federal funding to come to our waterways, inland waterway system. Great news. This fall, we also saw a coordinated effort from the entire Illinois congressional delegation, minus one, encouraging the Army Corps of Engineers to include a new start for the construction project in their work plan for fiscal year 2021. Great news. We believe we will see work begin on a new locker dam on the Illinois Mississippi River in 2021. And I know the work we completed this year has paved the way. High-octane, low-carbon fuel standard is the next big opportunity for ethanol demand. We saw Sherry Bustos introduce a bill into Congress in October that established a standard like this. The bill is called the Next Generation Fuels Act. When fully implemented, this will be an additional 1.8 billion bushels of corn demand or 5 billion gallons of additional ethanol demand. The bill is bipartisan and focuses on corn-based ethanol as a solution to the global climate discussion. This has been a project of ours for years, and I believe it is the next big opportunity for corn, and the biggest one sets the renewable fuel standard. Published legislative priorities in January 2020 are right here. I think in spite of the troubles handed to us in 2020, we dug in and focused on these priorities. We have significant progress to show for it. We did finalize the USMCA for trade and saw it implemented. We did get a low carbon, high octane standard for fuel introduced into Congress. And we did get some funds for locks and a change in the funding structure, which will funnel more money our way. There are also a bunch of little things that we have done this year that I'm really proud of. First, the new Join Us page on the website and accompanying Join Us brochures and display. We added over 300 advocates to our political text alert system in 2020. We now have an army of nearly 2,000 individuals willing to contact their elected officials on important issues that could impact corn farmers. We submitted 7 comments to the U.S. docket protecting your rights to farm and to use the products available. Engagement on the new Illinois fertilizer education regulations. Over 325 farmers and 300,000 acres enrolled in PCM, generating data for the farmers to evaluate conservation practices. And actually, this isn't a little thing. Let's take a quick minute to recognize our PCM team because they have won awards this year, expanded to new regions, published amazing data, received an early RCPP renewal, and worked really hard on our behalf. We have another 3-year term with Kenny Hartman representing us on the National Corn Growers Association board. We help distribute hand sanitizer to local communities all over Illinois in March and April when hand sanitizer wasn't available. And we showed up for our livestock neighbors when they were going through depopulation. I would like to say again, thank you for allowing me to serve as your president this year. It has been an honor and privilege, and I truly enjoyed it. At this time, we'll begin our awards presentation. I'd like to introduce Vice President Randy DeSutter, who will announce our 2020 award winners.
Thank you, Bill. First, I want to congratulate you, Bill, on an outstanding job as president this past year of the Illinois Corn Growers. I had a first-hand seat to see how good a job Bill has done this last year. He knows the issues. He's worked great here in Illinois representing corn farmers, as well as the national level for the National Corn Growers and in DC as well. Bill, we really appreciate all you did, and I'm sure glad you're still going to be on our board next year serving as our grassroots chairman and on national as the vice chairman of the Risk Management Action Team. And I want to show you, this is what we're presenting, Bill, as a token of our appreciation as an outstanding job as president this past year. Thanks a lot, Bill. Now it's time to move on to the awards part of the program. We've got several individuals that have did a lot for corn over the years. So let's get started. Our first award today is the Excellence in Media Award. And the media is more important this year than ever before due to the pandemic and farmers not being able to attend meetings. Our winner this year is DeLosh Yankee from RFD Radio. You can hear DeLosh daily on RFD Radio doing markets, ag news, and outstanding interviews. DeLosh is a great guy, and we really appreciate all he's did for the corn growers this year and are proud to present him the Excellence in Media Award. Congratulations, DeLosh Yankee, and let's listen to his reply on this video.
Hi, everyone. I'd just like to say how thrilled and honored I am to receive your 2020 Media Award. When Lindsay contacted me, I was just tickled to death and completely surprised. And this is certainly an award that I will cherish for a long time. When I think about Illinois corn, I think about so many people that I've talked to over the last few years, starting in Peoria in 2013 and then coming to RFD in 2015. And shortly after that, and the first thing that comes to mind for me is the group that I was so fortunate to go to Cuba with in 2015. Don Duval, Lou Lamoureux, Jim Rabin, Mark Wilson, Dirk Rice, Ted Mottaz, plus the other people in the group that we spent a week together with. And that trip was absolutely a career highlight. And the interview that I did, I talked to everyone, but the interview that I did with Mark and Ted is one of my absolute favorites. And it's the only interview that I've done that had a peacock squawking in the background. So memorable for a lot of different reasons. There are so many other people, though, that come to mind. I'm going to miss a bunch, so I apologize already, but I think about current leadership, past leadership, Bill Leigh, Randy DeSutter, Justin Durdan, Don Guinnip, Marty Marr, Gabe Danner, Roger Sy, Rob Elliott, Paul Jeske I've talked to, Mike Wormnest, and others like Ken Kleinschmidt, Gary Niemeyer, and I know I'm leaving people out, so I apologize for that, but certainly appreciate talking to so many folks. And then also staff that's been so easy to work with over the years, Rod Weinzierl, Jim Charman, Dave Luce, Lindsay Mitchell, of course, Laura Gentry, Travis Deppe, Megan Dwyer, not to mention Trish and Phil for the previous years. Growing up on a beef and dairy farm, corn was just meant for silence for us. The whole plant went through a 2-row chopper and hopefully into the chuck wagon behind it. No value added, nothing like that. Just how much tonnage can we raise to feed livestock? We hauled manure and fixed terraces. We did sustainability practices, but the corn really just had one purpose, never left the farm. And if it did, it was just to the elevator and eventually back to the farm. So it has been such a treat to promote issues and new uses and initiatives that keep the industry moving forward. I would also say when I got into the business, I was thinking about who I was going to talk to, what big official or maybe even big star, and where I was going to go for conferences and events. But I must say at this point, there's There really is nothing more that I enjoy than talking to farmers about what they're doing now, what their generations have done before, as well as what lies ahead. As you continue not only to feed a nation and a world, but also provide security to our country and many others as well. So thank you so much. I very much appreciate the award. I'm absolutely honored. Wish I could be with you. Hopefully we'll actually get to see each other in person again soon. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone.
Our next award today is the Ethanol Award. We're proud to present the Ethanol Award to Brian West, who worked at Oak Ridge National Laboratories. He was instrumental in a lot of ethanol research and helped get E15 to the market. Just last year, he attended our conference and talked about high-octane, low-carbon fuels. As a result of some of his information, we were able to get legislation introduced in Congress by Congresswoman Sherry Bustos on high-octane, low-carbon fuels. That's called the Next Generation Fuel Act. Let's congratulate Brian West for winning the Ethanol Award, and now listen to his video acceptance.
Hello, Illinois corn growers, and thank you so much for presenting me with this prestigious ethanol award today. I feel very, very fortunate to have worked on some programs that are important to you. And I want to thank Ron Graves, my mentor. He hired me back in 1988. Ron Graves and Ralph McGill literally taught me to be an automotive engineer. And without their support, I wouldn't be here today. Also want to thank the Department of Energy, Kevin Stork and Steve Gogan, Alicia Lindauer. They supported the mid-level ethanol blends program that I worked on, and some of the high-octane fuels work that I've been able to do. And then industry leaders like Dave Lose and Jim Bauman, Mark Palmer, and Bradley Shadd, who continue to support some of that work. I'd really like to see a high-octane, low-carbon fuel, in certification for our vehicles and widely used in the nation before I retire for good. So I want to thank all those folks, all the co-workers at Oak Ridge and other colleagues in industry and government. I literally feel like I'm standing on their shoulders today. So thank you so much to everyone who helped make this possible, and thank you for presenting me with this prestigious award.
The next award this morning is the Environmental Award. This is a tough one to give because it goes to Randy Stauffer, who passed away unexpectedly last June. Randy was a presence at all of our board meetings, giving us advice on the environment, sustainability, and working with consumers. He was our leader on the Field to Market program that works nationally with industries like Walmart, Pepsi, consumers, and farmers as well. We really miss Randy's presence at our meetings, his friendship, his laugh, and all he did helping advise us on the environment and sustainability. This morning, members of his family have submitted a video to accept his award.
We are honored to accept this award for Randy. I want to thank Rod for hiring him after he finished his other career to continue his passion of working in ag, working with people, doing what he loved doing, working in conservation. And we all know that Randy enjoyed his work with everybody in PCM. Loved his Tuesday morning calls with Lower Gentry. When they didn't happen, he was bummed for the day. And his threats of retiring all the time, I could have assured you all that that was not going to happen. He loved what he was doing. And for him, this was a fulfillment of what he started out with, a degree in conservation, and to be back doing what he loved.
On behalf of his 3 children, I just appreciate that he was a role model on how to approach work, strong work ethic, but most importantly, how to treat people. I hope that you all felt loved, because he loved everyone. He appreciated and always wanted to serve others. And I hope that all of us can continue his legacy. Thank you.
The next awards this morning are from called the World of Corn Awards, and we're giving those to 2 individuals this year. Our first winner is Congressman John Shimkus. Congressman Shimkus has been a long friend with Illinois corn growers. He not only has represented his district well in Southern Illinois, but corn growers all across the state of Illinois and the nation on corn and ag-related issues. John decided not to run for re-election this year. He's somebody that we're really going to miss for all the work that he's done for us, but we do wish him well in the future and congratulate him on being named one of our World of Corn winners for 2020. Let's listen to John in his acceptance video now. Thanks.
Hi, it's Congressman John Shimkus. Thank you for this great honor of the World of Corn Award from the Illinois growers. As I've told many of you, you all have been great friends for over the years, that I would do nothing without the ag group, especially the corn growers of Illinois. They've sat me down, they've educated me on inputs, obviously the price of corn and the challenges in production agriculture. I almost feel like a farmer because I put up a rain gauge years ago, and so I know exactly how much rain is falling at my house. But agriculture is the biggest sector of my congressional district. It's important that I stay focused on it. You all know the work I've tried to do with the RFS and really trying to change the paradigm to an octane standard, which really was led by you all. So having said that, it's been a great pleasure and honor to work with you. You'll be well served by my colleagues, Rodney Davis and Mike Boss, who are all on top of these issues too. So I don't feel like you're going to lose a step. Just a guy that's not as old as I feel these days. So thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you. Thank you for this great honor.
Our final World of Corn winner is Paul Taylor from Esmond, Illinois. I was lucky to just join the board when Paul was president of the Illinois Corn Growers. He was a very good leader that made me welcome and helped me learn the ins and outs of corn growers. Paul not only served Illinois well, he went on to the national, where he was elected to one of 15 members that serve on the National Corn Board. Paul, for all your leadership activities, not only in Illinois, but nationally, we hope you're excited to receive the World of Corn Award. I admire Paul's optimism. He wants to receive the award in person when this pandemic is over, so we look forward to presenting it to Paul soon in person at one of our Illinois corn meetings. Now we'll turn the meeting back to President Bill Leigh for the rest of our meeting.
Thank you, Randy. Secretary Keith Sanders has recorded the ballot results of the 2020 Illinois Corn Growers election, and the following directors were elected by their respective districts. In District 2, Ellen Rahn. District 5, Jason Bunting. District 8, Mike Shane. District 11, Keith Sanders. And District 14, Garrett Hawkins. I would entertain a motion to confirm these directors at this time. Please state your first and last names.
Mark Wilson, so moved.
Paul Jeske, seconds.
All right, we have a motion from Mark Wilson, a second from Paul Jeske. Voting is now open for designated voters. Please use your devices. I would tell a joke, but I don't know any. Thank you. Kayla gives a signal that the motion carried. Kate Danner and Dave Rylander have announced their candidacy to run as at-large directors. I would entertain a motion to cast a unanimous ballot at this time, since there are only 2 candidates running for 2 seats. Please state your first and last names.
Dan Cole, I so move.
John Rosensteel, second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Dan Cole to accept the unanimous ballot and a second from John Rosensteel. Voting is now open for designated voters. And when I tell the rest of the joke I did from the last one, but I don't remember what it was. And the motion carries. Congratulations to Kate Danner and Dave Rylander. The approval of acts and deeds ratifies all decisions that the Board of Directors has made in the past year. I would entertain a motion to approve acts and deeds of officers and directors for the past year at this time. Please state your first and last names.
Pat Dunlin. I would so move.
I second it, Pat Dumlin.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a motion from Jim Reed and a second from Pat Dumlin. We will proceed now to vote for all registered voters. You guys let me hang in there for a moment. If you wonder what we're doing at this moment, I'm looking expectantly at Kayla as she tallies the votes. And we're good. Thank you very much. Motion carried. At this time, I'd like to recognize our 2020 Illinois Corn Growers Association Board of Directors. From District 1, it's Mike Homerding. District 2, Aron Carlson. District 3, Randy DeSutter. District 4, myself, Bill Leigh. District 5, Justin Durdan. District 6, Sarah Hastings. District 7, Mark Bunselmeyer. District 8, Ted Mottaz. District 9, Terry Smith. District 10, Marty Marr. District 11, Keith Sanders. District 12, Don Guinnip. District 13, Matt Rush. District 14, Garrett Hawkins. And last but not least, District 15, Joe Murphy. At large, we have Kate Danner. And at large, Dave Rylander. And our IAA ex officio interlocking director, Steve Fourez from Farm Bureau. I want to thank the board of directors for their dedication and service over the past years. We will be missing Justin and Aron and Ted as they're retiring this year. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our executive director, Rod Weinzierl, for an operational update.
Thank you, Bill. And as you've already said, this has been an interesting and trying year. And I really want to thank everyone for joining this morning. I want to thank those of you who are members of the Illinois Corn Growers and those who are unable to join us this morning. And hopefully you'll have a chance, if you're listening to the video, to hear what we have done over the past year and what your leaders have done. I also want to recognize the leaders who had to step up and be very much organized leaders handling the situation of the pandemic, and been very interesting to watch them as they had to make adjustments in our normal schedule of meetings and doing things virtually. And I can tell you that a lot of them are much better at IT than what they were back in February when all this started. I only wanted to take a couple minutes this morning to just talk a little bit about maybe what was happening behind the scenes over the last year. And I have to tell you, I've never seen the commodity organizations work together like they did this spring once the pandemic started. Starting off with the opportunity of working with soybeans as we work to get hand sanitizer made from Illinois corn and going into ethanol from a number of plants here in the state, and also made from Illinois soybeans, glycerol that is used as another ingredient in that. Working together with the support of the Illinois Corn Marketing Board and Corn Checkoff dollars, we distributed hand sanitizer throughout the state. As Bill mentioned, we got a lot of hand sanitizer, especially in rural areas that had a difficult time getting PPE, a new acronym that we all had to learn this year, personal protection equipment, that rural areas were struggling with trying to get that. We worked again with soybeans to get hand sanitizer with all the machinery dealers in the state, all the ag retailers throughout the state, so that all the farmers throughout Illinois had the opportunity to get a crop in and have a successful year, which I believe they did. Right after that, we ran into issues that Illinois pork and Illinois beef were having at the packing plants throughout Illinois. Again, their inability at these plants to get PPE to protect their workers was creating a problem for their members producing beef and pork, which of course is a valuable commodity for corn and soybeans. And we worked with them to get hand sanitizer and also other personal protective gear to the workers on the lines of these packing plants, hoping that livestock farmers throughout Illinois would also have a successful year. And it's very interesting that a number of industries stepped up to produce other equipment, face shields and such, and we were able to intercept some of the supply lines to move face shields from John Deere out of Moline into the packing plants. So just like you guys help your neighbors when there's difficult situations in the spring or fall, the commodity groups work together to handle difficult situations, to create opportunities, and to have the opportunity for all of their members to be successful this year. Just wanted to take a minute to touch on the future this coming year. I think there's going to be 3 big opportunities we hope we're able to deliver on. As Bill mentioned, we made a lot of progress on waterways this year, And I think as we look at how the elections ended up, there's a big opportunity here in this coming year to capitalize on an infrastructure package and continue to move the waterways to upgrading throughout both the Mississippi River and the Illinois River, the locks and dams that exist. Trade continues to grow. The world wants meat, and I think we'll see opportunities for not only beef and pork and poultry exports throughout the world, but ethanol. Lastly, as I mentioned last year, there's been 6 policies during my career around biofuels and ethanol. I think we've started the conversations on the 7th, and I'm hoping that if not in 21 and 22, we make the transition to the next big policy, which I believe will include high octane, low carbon fuel. It's beneficial for the consumer for not only a reduction of greenhouse gases, but there's health benefits, and it creates and continues to have a competitive product out there in the liquid fuels market. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for, again, the participation in the organization. We need your activism, as there's only fewer and fewer of you going forward. We need more and more of you to step up and engage. I'd like to thank the staff for also working through a difficult year, and many times kind of on and off from home. And that's where most of us are again now, as we have new restrictions that kicked in last week. So with that, Bill, I'll turn it back to you. And again, thank you for working like you have the last year, and your leadership has been very valuable, and we look forward to the leadership this coming year.
Thank you, Rodney. Tomorrow, an email to all Illinois Corn Growers Association members will include an announcement of our new leadership and directors, a link to our electronic annual report, an audio update of from our new president, Randy DeSutter, and a link to view my State of the Association address. We work hard to keep our members included all the time, but this year it's especially important since opportunities for personal connection with staff and directors has been minimized. If you have any questions about what Illinois Corn Growers is working on, you can contact any of our directors, especially yours, and all of our Illinois Corn Growers staff. Contact information is at our website at www.illcorn.org, or you can call our office at 309-557-3257. Does anyone have any other business to come before this meeting? Seeing none, thank you for joining us this morning. Or I should say, hearing none. I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time. Please state your first and last name.
Kenneth Hartman, so moved.
Dirk Rice. I need a second. I'm sorry, go ahead again.
Dirk Rice, second.
We have a motion from Kenny Hartman, a second from Dirk Rice to adjourn. It is now up to the open to the designated voters. Got the word from Caleb. It has been an honor and privilege to serve as your president this year, and I'm looking forward to helping Randy along next year with his leadership. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.